Welcome, Pewter Report viewers, readers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast. It's an emergency podcast, merely an hour and 45 minutes after we just finished our most recent Pewter Report podcast. Of course, it's brought to you by our friends at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the good folks at Briar-Greaves Insurance. So visit briargreavesinsurance.com or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. We are having an emergency podcast because there is a big shakeup in the Bucs QB room. The Bucs are going to release quarterback Kyle Trask. That's per Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. They are releasing him. Also, he was going to go on injured reserve with a shoulder injury, so there will be an injury settlement in the release. And because of that, Teddy Bridgewater is QB2 for the Bucs. He is the backup quarterback to Baker Mayfield. A month into signing with the Buccaneers, less than a month, Teddy Bridgewater is your backup quarterback. So we got a lot to react to. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is Scott Reynolds. Scott, holy crow. I didn't expect that to happen right after we signed off the show.
Yeah, that was some interesting news, wasn't it? So we've got some scoop for you, and that's kind of why we decided to do this emergency podcast. Quarterback position is the most important position on the team, folks. It just is.
Yes.
That's why they signed Teddy Bridgewater, because the Super Bowl window is open, and I think that there was some discussion about maybe putting Teddy Bridgewater on the practice squad and keeping Kyle Trask. But a couple of factors into this, right? A couple of factors went into this. Number one, Kyle Trask did suffer a shoulder injury, took a hit to that shoulder against the Buffalo Bills. And that leaves the team in a little bit of an interesting situation heading into week one. Now, they could have put Teddy Bridgewater on the practice squad and decided to elevate him for, week one, just in case Trask was not going to be available to play. The other thing is, if you look out at Oakland, their backup quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, suffered a broken hand, and they need a backup quarterback. And there was some concern that if Teddy Bridgewater did get cut, now teams can't claim him because he's a veteran player. He would be a free agent. But if you're Teddy Bridgewater, it's a big difference in pay between what you're going to make on the active roster and what you would make on the practice squad.
Right.
And if you're a real quarterback needy team like the Raiders, or if there's another team out there that wants a true number two quarterback, you could essentially offer double what Tampa Bay wound up paying Bridgewater, or triple. I mean, like you could get into a bidding war for Teddy Bridgewater. Mm-hmm. He's under contract with the Buccaneers, so they're removing that possible scenario by keeping him as the number two. And so it's a myriad of things. Number one, Bridgewater, they feel might have been in demand. But more importantly, Kyle Trask did suffer that shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And they did not want a backup quarterback to be injured, because if Baker Mayfield gets hurt, then they're down to simply one quarterback on Sunday against the Falcons. That would have been Teddy Bridgewater. They would have had to elevate him for that particular game. Now, the other part of the equation is the team really likes Connor Bazelak. Mm-hmm. Okay, we talked about how Saturday made a difference between John Bullock with 3 special teams tackles and Nick Jackson, who didn't have any special teams tackles, and how that preseason finale can make a difference. Well, Kyle Trask threw a touchdown pass in the preseason finale, but Connor Bazelak completed 80% of his throws. I'm sorry, 63% of his throws. He got an 80.3 PFF grade. He was 12 of 19 for 107 yards and a touchdown. And Connor Bazelak, who the team will sign to the practice squad, was 32 of 46, which is 69.7% in the preseason for 261 yards and a touchdown. Matt, it's one thing for Kyle Trask not to have any turnovers in the preseason. It's another thing for a quarterback, a backup quarterback, a third string quarterback, in this case, a fourth string quarterback, to come in, play all 3 preseason games, not have a single turnover. And his completion percentages for the 3 preseason games, 66.7% against the Titans. He was 6 of 9 for 48 yards. Against the Steelers in the second half, 14 of 18, 77.8%, 106 yards. And then 12 of 19, 63.2%, 107 yards and a touchdown against the Bills on Saturday night. I'm not saying that Connor Baselak beat out Kyle Trask, but when you look at the entire picture, Trask is injured, right? This team still has as many question marks about him. They don't know if he's going to do anything in a regular season game or not. They've never found out. But they don't know that about Connor Baselak either, right? And if you have Baselak on the practice squad, you don't really want to keep 2 quarterbacks in their practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
I think what the Bucs are saying is we've seen enough of Kyle Trask. It's going to be a mystery that's going to remain unsolved, and we're moving on. And it feels like there's just a different sense about this team with some of these roster moves that they've made. They just decided we're going to move on from Desmond Watson. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for Anthony Walker. We don't have time for an injured Kyle Trask. This ship is sailing, and we're charting a course to the Super Bowl, and we need all hands on deck.
Yeah, the Bucs are tired of waiting around, and I think it speaks volumes. First of all, the performances are so important all the way across. Like Connor Baselak, if he doesn't have a good game against the Buffalo Bills on Saturday night, who knows what we're talking about right now in terms of this discussion with Bridgewater, Trask, and now Connor Baselak. At the same time, Teddy Bridgewater had his first practice with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on August 6th. He didn't play in the preseason game against the Titans. He literally just arrived. He had barely gone in 11-on-11s with his own teammates and against the Steelers until the last day before they flew out to Pittsburgh. And then he only played in 1 preseason game because he got extremely ill right before the game against the Bills. So in 1 preseason game, Teddy Bridgewater did enough to show the Bucs that he's the guy to turn to if something happens to Baker Mayfield. He threw 2 touchdowns, one to Bucky Irving, another to Emeka Egbuka. Automatically had that pocket presence that sometimes you still don't have with Kyle Trask. And at the same time, while it might be unfair to Trask that he didn't get to work with the starters the same way that Teddy Bridgewater did, while Teddy was slinging it, throwing those 2 touchdowns, Trask had his worst game of the 3 preseason games. Now, credit to him, he was good against Tennessee, and he certainly bounced back against Buffalo. But Teddy Bridgewater is clearly the answer of he was the better quarterback out of the 2. And I guess who knows what'll happen? I mean, there's a chance that Trask could go to the Raiders, as you talked about. There's a chance he could end up somewhere else. But if this closes the book or the chapter on Kyle Trask with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's an interesting one for sure. 2021 second-round pick. Had a chance to learn from Tom Brady and Blaine Gabbert. Had a chance to compete for a starting job, but ultimately it went to Baker Mayfield. And then barely any time in the NFL in regular season games. Teddy Bridgewater's here less than a month, and the Bucs believe that he's the better guy for the job. So unfortunate for Kyle Trask, but like we said at the beginning, the Bucs are in win now mode. They have a championship caliber team, and Teddy Bridgewater is only going to get better too. Just being around the team a little bit more, helping in any way. He certainly has a coaching background. So this is an upgrade for Tampa Bay. Now, if you want to say maybe they lose a little bit with Baselak versus Kyle Trask, at this point, they'd only be in if it was an emergency situation. So you hope you never get to that point. But certainly, as the title says, a shakeup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the quarterback room.
Yeah, and listen, I was wrong about this, folks, because I was pretty certain. Now, I didn't know about the shoulder injury, and to be fair, I don't know that they really did until maybe yesterday too, getting some injury reports back. We even asked Todd Bowles, did anybody get injured in the game? He's like, I don't have the injury report yet. That was
that's true.
That was on Sunday morning after the game. So that did play a part of this, but this is not an easy decision that Jason Light had to make, right? This is a second-round pick we're talking about. We just talked about how they got rid of Jose Ramirez, who was one of their draft picks. It's very rare that they will part ways with with a draft pick because they've drafted so well lately. Let's put it that way. I mean, they've really done a great job of drafting the last 3 years. The only player they parted ways with that was a draft pick is Jose Ramirez. And now you look and even though Kyle Trask was drafted back in 2021, he was a second round pick. So Jason Light, not afraid to, and he wouldn't tell you that Kyle Trask is a mistake because I have tried to get that out of him. Kyle Trask served a role on this team. He did his job as the backup quarterback. Thankfully, the Bucs didn't need him. Thankfully, Tom Brady didn't miss a start. Baker Mayfield hasn't missed a start, but this year is different. This is a Super Bowl window is open year. And you're right, Matt. This is an upgrade with Teddy Bridgewater. He has shown enough, and they're trusting him enough with his experience that he is going to learn this playbook quickly, that he is going to develop a rapport with these players quickly, because that was the advantage Kyle Trask had. Even though he's been described as a deliberate learner, right? It took him a while, but this was year 2 in this offense for Kyle Trask. He's thrown to everybody on this team plenty. He's got a rapport and a chemistry with that. And he had 2 pretty good preseason games. It wasn't necessarily the preseason that sunk him because, and I'm just getting a text right now. The teams were in demand for Teddy Bridgewater. That's
right. I believe it.
That's what really forced this move was with all the quarterback situations and Las Vegas is one of them. They could not afford to lose Teddy Bridgewater, and they were not going to carry through quarterbacks. So that is some fresh information right there for you.
And I get it, because I'm telling you, when I was at that practice, specifically when the Bucs were in Pittsburgh, not even against the Steelers, when they were practicing at Carnegie Mellon University, that was really the first time where Teddy had several reps with the offense where it wasn't just, hey, he's throwing a screen or he's handing the ball off. He was legitimately throwing the ball down the field and then working in red zone. He made some throws in red zone where I was like, that's a veteran quarterback. That is a dude that has timing. Right. And, he put in the work after practice too with these players ever since he arrived to Tampa. It just makes a lot of sense. And I'm not trying to bash Kyle Trask, not trying to kick him while he's down. He's about to get released, and that's very unfortunate. But something just never fully clicked with Kyle Trask. And, it's not his fault that he didn't get into regular season games. The situation has to dictate for it. But even in the preseason, I don't know. There's always this prodding and a little bit too much methodical where even Teddy in one game is like, oh, there's the rush. Let me go this way. Oh, the blitz is coming. Let me get rid of it.
That's
and he's just making these throws
that
Kyle
feel
Trask
for it.
Yes, the feel, I think, was everything. That was super important. That ultimately got Teddy Bridgewater the job as QB2 on this team. And we'll see with Connor Baszler, too. Obviously can be a developmental guy. Maybe the next Tom Brady. I'm kidding. I don't think that'll happen. But, hey, you never know. Let's get to a couple of super chats.
Yes.
We'll start with Jonas Garea. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says 2016 draft versus 2021 draft. Thoughts? So I pulled it up. 2016.
I'm going to go
round 1, Vernon Hargraves.
Yeah.
Round 2, Noah Spence. Also round 2, Roberto Aguayo. Round 4, Ryan Smith. 5th round, Caleb Beninock. 6th round, Devontae Bond. And also 6th round, Danny Vitale, the fullback at Pick 197. 2021, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the last pick of the first round. 2nd round, Kyle Trask. 3rd round, Robert Hainsey. 4th round, Jalen Darden. 5th round, KJ Britt. 7th round, Chris Wilcox. And 7th round, Grant Stewart. Scott, you've been covering the team for a while. You were covering them in 2016. I think the 2016 class is worse because in 2021, you can at least point to Robert Hainsey being a solid backup. And, even Grant Stewart, got himself an Uber Eats commercial. He's still in the league, just not in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, head to head. I mean, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, for all his faults, and he never lived up to the draft billing, he was a better player than Vernon Hargraves. At least he's still in the league. I mean, I don't know if he's going to do much, but Vernon Hargraves is gone. I mean, he's out. And Hargraves just wasn't good. It just wasn't a good, fit for this team. And Joe Tryon-Shoyinka tried hard. He just was too much finesse, not enough physicality. And that was just it. He looked the part, but didn't play the part. So
Yeah.
I think that's. I think it's 2021. Listen, was not a great draft. That's fine. They came off a Super Bowl,
Right.
and honestly, ever since then, they've killed it.
They have.
If you
they
go
have
back and look,
rebounded from that.
yeah, Jason Light will have a bad draft, and then he'll kill it with a couple of good drafts. And right now, we're in kill it mode.
Yes.
And I think that's a good thing because it's setting up the next Super Bowl run.
Yeah, like he's more than made up for.
Yeah.
They weren't doomed by the 2021 class.
Right.
Meets McGee, thanks for the $2 super chat. Says, so Baszler will be the emergency quarterback. Yes.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, he has to clear waivers.
Sure.
And if he does, then the plan is to re-sign him to the practice squad. That's what the team wants to do. They do like him. And you know what? I've seen a lot of awful quarterback play, and especially in the preseason. And I don't remember like any turnover worthy plays that he had. Like, do you remember any passes that were like almost going to be intercepted but dropped? I mean, he completed 70% of his throws. He pushed the ball downfield a little bit.
Games.
Right.
Training camp is a little bit different, but yeah, for sure. Let's go to Brian Scoocher. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Says, could they not have tried to get something for Kyle aside from just cutting him?
He's injured. That's the problem.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't pass the physical right now, probably. So yeah.
Mopar Buck, thank you for this 1999 super chat. Says, so are we discussing the 2021 draft class? The whole draft is a bust. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it has to be a bust. There's one player on the team at the moment. And again, if your best player is a backup offensive lineman and Robert Hainsey.
Well, but in fairness, he was a starter for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was for 2 years.
They still won a division championship with him. That's why between Hainsey and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, you give the 2021 draft class the nod over the 2016.
Yeah,
is it a bust now? Yeah, because there's no players left. You should have one or two players left, but it's not. So that's it.
Yeah, Mopar Buck follows that up. Thank you for the $9.99 super chat.
You.
Says the whole 2021 draft class is no longer on this team.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because Kyle Trask was about to make history for the Bucs as the first quarterback to be drafted by the team and then signed to a second contract.
Yeah.
Now I don't know where that falls now because he's not on the team anymore.
Well, it's almost like Ryan Griffin's distinction of being the longest tenured Buccaneer quarterback. He's the third string quarterback.
That's Bucs history for you. It's never straight and narrow.
Yeah, exactly, Matt.
It's all over the place. Thank you for the super chat, though, Mopar Buck. Cali Bucks, thanks for the $1.99. Says, are the Bucs bringing in another edge rusher?
I hope so. They need one. I hope so. That's going to be tomorrow's topic on the Pewter Pulse. So.
Hopefully they get another, not diamond in the rough, but like
Jason Light's done it twice before with the waiver wire. Carl Nassib and Jackie Smith. Jackie Smith in 2014, Carl Nassib in 2018. So we'll see.
Thanks to Hezo813 for this $5 super chat, who says, before fans crap on Light for the 2021 draft, go back and look at that draft class and see how bad it was.
Yeah, it wasn't
about like the entire draft.
Yeah, it wasn't a spectacular year for sure. So if you're going to bomb a year, at least do it on a year where there's not. It's maybe you didn't have like those clear misses, right? I mean, you're picking 32nd too. You're coming off the Super Bowl. You're essentially drafting for depth. Every single one of your starters was back, so there is.
And the team won 13 games. In the
team won 13 games that year, right? And they've drafted exceptionally well ever since. I think they recognized what they did wrong in 2021. And they have worked to fix it these last three drafts.
Right, yeah, because the next draft in 2022 is Logan Hall, Luke Gedeke, Rashad White right out of the gate, and Kate Otten right out of the gate.
That's right.
Jake Kamara didn't work, but Zion McCollum and Co Keep still going strong on this team. And then Andre Anthony was the one that didn't make it on the team. So
in the 2022, you got back. Cansey, Malk, Diaby, Dennis, Durham. And Hayes, Palmer, and Ramirez. Ramirez is gone, 6th round pick. Okay. Hayes and Palmer we'll see again, 6th round picks. And then, last year's draft, Barton, Braswell, Smith, McMillan, Irving, Klein, Culp. We feel good. All those guys are going to make the team. This year, every single player is making the team. Emeka Ibuka, Benjamin Morrison, Jacob Parrish, David Walker's on IR, Elijah Roberts, and Tez Johnson. That's a really good nucleus, folks. That's really good drafting.
Paul, aka OG Baker Bro, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, shout out to the Traskaholics. Pour one out for the Traskaholics. Not the best evening for them.
True. Yeah. If you're a Traskaholic, there are some alcoholic beverages that you might want to consume. Not advocating drinking, but if you want to partake, then.
I've said it before, other players, I'll say with Kyle Trask, I hope he ends up somewhere else. I hope he gets to continue his NFL career.
Yep.
Meets McGee, thanks for the $2 super chat, says, not fair. The 2021 draft class was the COVID year.
It was, but also 2020 was a COVID year too. They drafted Jason Light drafted Tristan Wirfs in his in his spare bedroom or something, wherever he had the war room set up. That was a year where there was no war room at one Buccaneer place. They were doing it all via Zoom. So,
right.
I'm not going to give Jason Light a pass. 2020 was actually more difficult than 2021 because of that.
Yeah. And then another $2 super chat from Brian, I guess Shucker?
Shucker, there we go.
As in
Shucker.
oyster.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for the super chat, Brian Shucker. Sorry for pronouncing your name wrong. My apologies. But thank you, Brian Shucker, for this $2 super chat.
We won't forget it now.
Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thanks for the $2 super chat. Traskaholics, meet me at Walk-Ons. Drinks on me. It's very kind of you.
Listen, Walk-Ons, they do have all-day happy hour tomorrow with $5 Tito's. So get to Walk-Ons for that all-day happy hour Tuesday. $5 Tito's. Eat like a winner, drink like a champ. Wesley Chapel, Midtown Tampa, Lakeland. Get there.
Yeah. Very, very surprising news with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We thought Trask was going to be the guy, but the shoulder injury really, I think, put a wrench into all of this, especially because we didn't really see it, go down.
Yeah, I mean, he looked fine after the game. Sometimes though, if you take a hit, and I've injured my shoulder too, not playing football or doing really, crazy things, but like yard work or something, if I'm doing like a bunch of trimming of the trees or whatever, it's like you wake up the next morning and you're like, I can't move my arm. I can't move my arm above my, above my head. So maybe that is what happened, but it just put the Bucs in a little bit too precarious of a situation. If you missed our show earlier, check it out, because Matt and I dive deep into the roster cuts on our previous Pewter Report podcast for today over on Pewter Report TV. These are all the cuts right here. Connor Basilick and Kyle Trask, the quarterbacks. Running backs, Jace McClellan and Owen Wright. Wide receivers, Raheem Jarrett, Jacob Harris, and Dennis Houston. Tight end, Tanner Talla. Offensive lineman, Raekwon O'Neal, Tyler McClellan, Sua Opeta, Ben Scott, Jake Majors. Defensive lineman, Desmond Watson, Devon J. Thomas, Eric Banks, Mike Green, Nash Hutmacher. And outside linebackers, Jose Ramirez and Warren Peebles. Inside linebackers, Anthony Walker Jr. and Nick Jackson. Cornerbacks, Trey Avery and Bryce Hall and Javian Farr. And safeties, Shiloh Sanders and Will Brooks. We're going to be talking more about this. We might even have another emergency podcast tomorrow.
Right.
When we're at One Buccaneer Place. But our next regularly scheduled podcast on Pewter Report TV will be on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We're going to be talking about the Bucs roster. Is it set, or are they still going to make some moves? Are they going to sign some free agents? Are they going to get some waiver wire claims? We'll find out, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And then on Thursday, we'll have a practice squad reaction show, and that'll do it for this week's podcast outside of our Pewter Insider. And then we've got an NFC South Division preview next Tuesday. There's no show on Monday. It's Labor Day. We're taking the day off. We'll still have content on pewterreport.com, but we have a special podcast Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And that Tuesday one's going to have Greg Allman from Fox Sports. We're going to be talking about the current Kings of the South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and previewing the NFC South with our division preview. So make sure you check that out. Also, too, make sure you check out the USF Bulls, who open the season at Raymond James Stadium on Thursday against Boise State.
Facing pressure. Ransom's going down.
Get your South Florida football tickets today.
That's right. Scan that QR code to purchase your tickets. August 28th, 5:30 p.m., Raymond James Stadium, all blacked out. USF with their uniforms versus number 25 Boise State to kick off the season. Should be a great game. I'm looking forward to watching that one myself. Matt, it's been an interesting day. 2 podcasts.
Yes. And we have one more super chat before we
Let's
sign
get to
off.
it.
Thanks to Meets McGee for this $2 super chat, who says, thank you guys for your hard work. Hit the like button. Thank you very much for the kind words. And yes, everybody, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to Pewter Report and Pewter Report TV. If you're not already following us, please follow us on our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Pewter Report, and our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. So please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video sharing your thoughts about this news with the Bucs QB room. So that'll do it for us on this second show of today. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everybody for watching. And we'll see you soon. I don't know when. Could be another emergency podcast. It could be Wednesday. So we'll see you soon for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.